Again, episode 1, Nora McGuire-White, founder and executive director of CEO. I am here today with Mikaela O'Fallan, whom I coached for the first time when Michaela was about 7 years old, on a co-ed team in the Steady, not in the Steady Academy. At that time, it was just called SVU Academy, I suppose, yeah. And so Michaela is now, fast forward 16 or 17 years. Michaela is currently a rising senior at University of Mary Washington, playing soccer there and majoring in
biomedical sciences.
With an intention to
go to PA school somewhere. Wherever that will be.
Yeah, so Michaela has been on a long journey. I've known Michaela most of her life, and so we're here today, 5 questions with our special guest. So first question for today, Michaela, it's been a long journey, and you've always been a very competitive, driven student athlete in the classroom and on the field. Now that you have had 3 seasons with a COVID pause of playing college soccer, what would you say are the best things? What do you enjoy most about being a collegiate soccer player?
I guess from my 3 years so far, I have met my best friends playing. I know that sounds kind of cheesy, but I came into college with set friends, but I didn't expect to meet the best friends that I have. Some of them are leaving, which is sad to me, but because they're graduating, they're not like leaving. They're graduating, but I have definitely met some of my best friends that will be with me for the rest of my life. And then also, I'm a very, very competitive person. So playing in college just helps that. And so I just, whether it's like a 4v4 at practice, or if we're playing games with our coach or something, I'm just always trying to win. I definitely get made fun of a lot, but that is who I am. So I do that a lot.
Yeah, and we'll get on to, I think I always was able to see in Michaela from a very young age, as I think anyone that knows her, how competitive her mentality is, how fiery she can be. And University of Mary Washington is a Division III school. And we'll get to later a little bit more about how that ended up being the spot for Michaela. All right, so we talked about some of the best parts, and for me too, my over 30 years after being a Division I athlete at JMU, my best friends in the world are also my teammates. So, but what do you think it is about the environment that cultivates those friendships?
Well, they're the people that you're most with all the time. Like, I spend every single day with them, many hours, especially during the season. You're with them for away games, for home games, so you're spending at least 6-7 hours with them. So you have to get to like them, or you're gonna be just kind of alone. So it just happened that because I was with them all the time, we just became best friends. And like, when you're out of season, it like, in the past, like for me and my friends, it got sad because we're like, oh, we don't have this like set time that we can like see each other all the time. Like, we have to actually plan to go and hang out. Unlike one of my best friends that I live with, then I can see her 24/7. And then it's like planning on not seeing each other because we are around each other so much.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Makes the experience great. Okay, so after talking for a minute about the best parts of being a student athlete at the college level, what are the most challenging? I think it's really, really important for our young girls and athletes who participate in Steady or who might be listening in to understand that it isn't always fun. And what would you say are the most challenging pieces to being a college soccer player?
I think that one of the things coming in is, in high school, a lot of the college athletes were one of the best in their high school like teams. But coming into college, everybody was good. So you're all fighting for a spot, but it's a lot harder because you all are good. So you all have different, like, you all are good, but you all have different qualities that make you good. And so that's definitely one of the harder things that you had to learn, that coming in, you're not offered a spot right off the bat, especially freshman like as a freshman, you are lower on the pole, I guess, and so you have to really come in and make a difference. You have to move a needle in order to be seen. But that also goes along with you have to be mentally tough. It definitely will take a toll on your mental health if you're not strong right away, because it is challenging and you're not always going to succeed. You're going to fail. You're going to have those hard days. You're going to have those hard practices or tough games where you don't feel like you did the best, and you'll have other people, like when you're coming in as a freshman, like you're gonna get yelled at by the seniors. It's just how it's gonna be. You're gonna feel like, oh, the seniors don't like me, but you just have to know like they've been playing for 4 years now and they know what's better. So you have to kind of take that with a grain of salt and be like, okay, like that's what they're saying, like that's what I need to work on, what I need to improve on. You can't be like, oh, they're yelling at me because now I suck. Like that's not the reason. It's just you need to be mentally strong, like coming in.
And what would you say has helped you most in developing your confidence further, right? You were a very confident player coming out of high school, both playing high school and club. Going to the college level, what did you lean into for yourself? What resources have you used to help develop and sustain your confidence and your mental skill set? You know, here in Steady we do mental fitness training, and we work with players on how to start to better develop and control, you know, their confidence and the factors that influence, you know, their level of play. But we didn't have that when you were coming through. So how would you say, what advice could you give about how you helped, what you developed in yourself to help maintain your confidence, to continue to work to try to climb that ladder, and also whom perhaps you leaned into for that?
I'll start by saying it was different for me. It was coming in, it was a different change. So I did have to realize that you have to believe in yourself more than anybody else, because if not, then it's kind of like you're not going to do your best if you don't believe in yourself. Like other people saying that, oh, like you're doing great, you're doing well, like you can do it, it's only going to get you so far. Like you actually have to physically believe in yourself that you can climb the ladder, you can do your best. One of the people I actually did talk to was Coach Nora. She has been there. So I was going through my freshman year, I didn't have the best year at the beginning. It definitely took me a while, and I wasn't used to not starting all the way or not playing as many minutes as I thought I was going to. That took a toll on me as well, that it lowered my confidence. And so just like talking to Coach Nora and knowing like I am like in the position, like I am strong enough, like I can play, I just have to relax and take my time with it.
And I think that kind of segues into a really, really important next question. I think every athlete throughout their career deals with their coach-player relationship and what your expectations are that your coach is going to pour into you versus a lot of the realities with the demands that college coaches have and their roster sizes, the number of players they have to deal with, and all the other parts of their job. Even the best of coaches might not offer you what you are hoping to get out of them. So I think that builds off of what Michaela was saying about how you have to be your number one fan first. You have to believe in yourself the most first. But what would you say that you have learned, Michaela, about a coach-player relationship? What is important to take in, and what is important to know that you need to control just for yourself?
So one of the things is like when you're on the field and your coach is kind of like telling you what to do, like yelling, not necessarily like yelling all the time, but if they have their comments that they're like saying to you, like getting better, you just need to know like they're not on the field. You are. So you're seeing it from the field position. Like you have to kind of take it and be like, okay, coach, like I know what I'm doing. Like you can say as much as you want, but like I'm going to play my game. I'm going to do me because that's why I'm here. And you also have to know like you're not the only one in the boat. Like there are other players that feel the exact same way you do about like how they're getting talked to like by the coach, or how they're feeling about their playing time, how they're playing. So you just have to know there are other people around you that feel the same way, but you just have to know like you're there for a reason. You can make a difference. So the coach is kind of there to help you, to guide you through it, but you have to kind of take that next step and be like, all right, I can do this. Let me just not worry about what the coach has to say all the time.
Yeah, so I think the big takeaways that I hear is just confidence. You have to know what makes you special and unique, and you have to remember that as you jump to each level that you go through, that a coach is thinking about the team environment, the team system, the team style of play, and they're there, but you know you better than you if you can maintain the confidence to never forget the impact that you have the ability to make. It's been amazing watching Michaela on her journey, which is still ongoing, obviously with her senior year coming, which is gonna for sure be the best. But the difficult ups and downs that she's gone through, and getting her confidence back and being in that place where I know why I'm here and I know what I can do, even more than your coach, because you know you better than better than they do. Okay, another great, we could take an entire topic on this, but I'm gonna ask Michaela to talk about overcoming injuries. As an athlete, as a competitive athlete, and many of you might be aspiring to either play high-level club or collegiate soccer, injuries are a part of what you experience as a student athlete. Michaela's experiences with injuries is particularly unique, and I just would like, Michaela, you to talk a little bit about your injuries, and then in overcoming them to still be a collegiate student athlete, what were the mental keys to get over that and be where you are, and then what were the physical keys?
So going off, I have overcome 3 ACL injuries. They came in, it was 8th, 9th, and 10th grade. So back to back injuries, which was very difficult on my mental health in particular. So I tore it the first time in 8th grade, and I was young, so I kind of was like, oh, like I just like kind of went through this. And then I went through the process of rehab, got better, and then a month after recovery, or a month after I was released to be able to play again, I re-tore the same one. And so I then had surgery a couple months later. So within less than 2 years, I had already had 2 ACL surgeries, which was very hard mentally. And it hit me hard because like going through that process, I was like, I don't know if I want to play soccer again. It was something that I had thought about long and hard. I had many conversations with my parents, and I was like, I don't know if I want to play college. I don't know if I want to continue playing because of how many injuries I've had. And then I did rehab again. It took a longer process for the rehab. So instead of it being 6 months, I did 9. And then a year later, I tore my other one in basketball. That's why I just can't play multiple sports, because then I just hurt myself anyway. But then I tore my other side. And so I had talked to my doctor. Honestly, the physician who did my surgeries was probably one of my biggest supporters. He didn't want me to stop playing, and he didn't want me to wear a brace because sometimes wearing those braces, it's like a mental crutch. And so he didn't want me to have that, especially at such a young age. So he didn't want me to stop playing. I didn't want to stop playing after that. But there were other people around me that were like, Michaela, like you've had 3 surgeries, like maybe you should take a step back. You shouldn't play anymore. But like I was very determined that I wasn't going to let anybody else tell me when my career was going to be done. I was like, I'm going to tell myself, like my body will tell myself when it's done. I'm not going to have somebody else say it. So within those 3-4 years of becoming like the recovery process, it showed me how determined I was to do something. I wasn't gonna let these stop me. I wasn't gonna let these stop me from playing because I was determined to play. I love soccer. I've been playing soccer since I was 6. So ending it was not even something that I could think about anymore. So then I was very determined. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go play. I actually played at Soccer for a couple of years down in Charlottesville. And that's where I met it's very competitive over there as well, which was a good fit for me. And so it just helped me become stronger and become a better athlete. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna gonna do this. And then because of my surgeries, I was very late in the recruiting process for soccer in college. So it took a while, but finally I found, honestly, a home, like a place I can call home because of the environment. And so, yeah, I think coming off of these injuries, one of the biggest things I have learned is that if you're determined, you can do it. I went through stages of not knowing what to do, or thinking about how maybe I should, like, soccer isn't the fit for me. But after doing a lot of sitting around and, recovering, I determined, like, that is my path. Like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go off and train hard and play hard and just be the best I can.
And so, yeah, Michaela, thanks so much for sharing, because we have some of the young women in our program that have had knee injuries or have already had an ACL, and I always say, hey, if Michaela can recover from 3, you can most definitely recover from 1. And again, I think that competitiveness and resiliency that you have makes you such a great role model for the girls underneath who get injuries and wonder, can they do it? I think that's so awesome. You say you have done incredibly well in school. You've always been super driven, and we were talking earlier about and competitive with school, like the way you're competitive with soccer. Do you believe that your desire to become a physician assistant had something to do with the experiences that you had in overcoming your injuries?
Yes, definitely. I was younger. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, or as I became an adult, no idea. All I was saying, I was like, oh, I'm gonna become like a pro athlete. Like, I can only go so far. So after my injuries, after my surgeries, I would go a lot of the times to see the physician's assistant before the doctor, because the actual physician is very busy. He is doing surgeries all the time. So you would see the physician's assistant before the doctor sometimes. And so the physician's assistant that helped me was like, she would also tell me, she's like, you do you. If you want to go and play, you're gonna go and play. She's like, I don't want to stop you from playing. Like, she told me, she's like, you're very determined. I can see you not quitting. And so that kind of she helped me mentally through the process of okay, if she can believe in me, I can believe in myself. And so that just, she had a very big impact on me staying through the process. And so I was like, okay, maybe this could be something for me. I want to help others how I was helped through that. And so I was like, what can I do that can help people? And I was thinking of PT, but then I was like, I don't know if I necessarily want to go through the process and then be in the rehab facility. And then I was like, okay, what is somebody that can be there in the surgery room to help out, and the process of injury, and not necessarily just also athletes in general. And so I was like, okay, orthopedic PA, that's on that path of they help the athletes that are injured to helping them. They are in the surgery room helping the physician fix the injury. And so I was like, this is the path for me. And so ever since my second ACL injury, I have known that is what I wanted to do. And so that's what I've been striving to go for ever since.
Yeah, I mean, we say a lot in Steady that everyone is born with unique gifts, that their combined gifts make them like nobody else in the world. And also that, that there's no coincidences, that things happen for a reason. And it is wonderful for our Steady people and those who tune in to hear that something that may have come off as being a real tragedy has steered you in the direction of what you want to do for the rest of your life, which is really exciting. And to see you driving hard towards that is wonderful. Michaela is an incredible student, gets great grades, but works at that like she works at being fit for soccer and to be successful on the field, collegiately. And so I think I just want to wrap up today. by saying, like, if you have just tips for young players, tips for them to succeed on the field, things that they might need to do to be successful on the field, but tips and takeaways that you've learned to be successful in the classroom and even, you know, socially. And we know today a lot of people have challenges with finding their self-confidence, with positive self-image. And so any tips that you can give them for success personally, academically, and on the field?
One of the biggest things, I think the biggest tip that I can give you guys is being fit. A coach is going to look at you and be like, oh, she came in fit, she's ready to play, let's see what she can do. I think that's probably the biggest thing. There's definitely been girls who like have trained and stuff and they're not as fit, and so you're kind of hurting yourself and like moving down the ladder than moving up it. So I think if you're fit, you don't have to worry about, if I'm going to get tired during the game, like being fatigued and like, do I need to keep this ball, but I can't run to that. Like, I think fitness is the biggest key, because you can always work on your skill and you can always work on your passes and that, but if you're not fit, then you're gonna have to focus on fitness before you can focus on the technical work. So if you already have the fitness down, then you can just work together and become better as a soccer player than having to work on two things.
And then, and that wrap up is just the reminder about how Michaela talked about self-confidence, believing in yourself, being your own biggest fan and supporter, because when times get tough, by way of an injury, by way of a coach, a hierarchy of older, more experienced players, you have to be in your own corner more than anything else. And that is always a process, because we go through different adversities throughout our careers. And so again, through steady on the field training, through steady mental fitness training, we help to work on those things. And, you know, Michaela and I still talk, as I do with other former players, about what they're going through in their college environments. And it so often comes back to, you have to believe in yourself first and recognize that other people are there, like coaches and others, to support you, but you know you the most. So I want to say thank you to Michaela for being our first special guest. And tune in. If you have questions for Michaela, you can email them to info@steady.academy, or you can, once we post the vlog, we're gonna open up a chat room for questions to go out that we're gonna ask Michaela to answer, as well as other guests in the future. So have a great day, believe in yourself, keep working hard, keep being a competitor, and we will see you soon.